Number one is vertical analysis, and we're going to look at that right now. That provides a picture of organizational efficiency. Okay, let's take a look at how this works. Okay, on the financial statement, we're going to have the amount of money we made, the income, and we're going to have the amount of money it cost us to produce that income. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay, we're going to take a look at two agencies actually in contrast. Agency A, they had revenue of $100. They had expenses of $50. Gross margin, Agency B had revenue of $300 and they had program expenses of $200. I'm just curious, what agency would you guys think is on a higher rate for success? Let me ask you like this, guys. Whoever thinks Agency A is on for success, raise your hands. Okay, whoever thinks Agency B is probably on a stronger path for success, raise your hands. Okay, I want to show you something, okay? Gross margin. Gross margin is revenue, right? This is revenue minus the cost of goods or the program expenses divided by the revenue. Agency A has a gross margin of 50%. Agency B has a gross margin of 33%. That means that they're not running as efficient an agency as Agency A. Okay, so there you go. Vertical analysis, right? Looking at the income statement from line to line, analyzing each line to the next, will give you a picture of the agency's efficiency. Horizontal analysis is looking at time periods. Okay, this will provide a picture of the direction the organization is headed in. Let's look at an agency from year 1 to year 2. Year 1, revenue was $100. Year 2, revenue was $300. Okay, let's look at the growth rate. Okay, growth rate, this is how much their revenue is growing, is year 1, right, $100, minus year 2. I'm sorry, it's year 2, $300, minus year 1, $100, divided by year 1, okay? That equals 200%. They're growing by 200%. Expenses. Let's look at how fast our expenses are growing. We have $50 in year 1, $200 in year 2. How fast are their expenses growing? 300%. Now we can do vertical analysis on this as well and say, hey, the revenue growth is 200%, but the expense growth is 300%. So that's something we'll keep in mind. Guys, that's evaluation. Okay? So basically what we've covered was like this: the business model, managing cash flows, managing the resources, collaboration, and evaluation. Now, guys, I want to thank you so much, and I want to take the time for either ideas or questions and answers, and let's do it like that. So if you have a question or you have an idea, raise your hand and we'll call on you. Okay, Ahuva Gerson, I see you have a question.
No, it was I'm still up in the poll.
Right, okay, I see. Okay, Diana Robinson, I see you have a question.
Yeah, my only question is, I had asked that if we could get the PowerPoint sent to us.
Of course.
Would that be done via email?
Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, okay. Let me take that down.
My only question.
Okay, all right, sure. Okay, let me just take that down. Okay, anybody have any ideas on anything that we've covered in the webinar? Tay, is that your hand raised? No, Roger, is that your hand raised? Okay. Okay, guys, we're gonna stay on in case you guys have any other questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it, and it's a true honor to have such a wonderful agency, to have such a wonderful group of agencies together. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you for the information.
Please, I hope this takes us to the next level. All right.
You know, as far as the presentation goes, when you're talking about leveraging resources,
yeah.
You know, we've done some smaller level things like sharing dumpsters with another nonprofit and sharing a T1 line, which is to bring the internet into the building when cable was not available. So, you know, small things like that add up, you know, and I think it's time to try to think a little bit more globally, because that's how the trend seems to be going.
Globally, as far as what's concerned.
As far as collaborating and agencies coming together, because you know dollars are becoming more competitive, and as a nonprofit, you know, if you don't have the dollars, you're not going to be able to provide the services. So.
Right, and when you say globally, you mean like throughout the, in other words, instead of, let's say, intra-agency collaboration, you mean interagency, with a bunch of different agencies getting together. Is that what you mean? Am I understanding correctly?
Yeah, I mean, you know, a while back, you know, our agency, we're one of several throughout the state of New Jersey, and one of the things we try to
Diana, I just want to interject. Diana Robinson from the Regional Perinatal Consortium. So just so we know what agency, Diana, sorry, I just wanted to make sure we all on the same page which agency.
Okay.
Okay.
And we looked into the fact that being that we were all consortia, was our health insurance, being that we're a small business, you know, at the time less than 10 people, was that something that we could get together with the other consortia, because we're all state mandated and licensed, and we were all created out of the same grant. And,
I see what you mean.
Yeah, so I mean that was something that we try to look into, try to see if we could come under some sort of umbrella so that those costs would be less for everyone. Unfortunately, at the time, that was not something we could do. But you know, to think of ideas of where we can save costs and collaborate. You know, like we have a conference room here. We're more than willing to have people have programs here if they need space for free. We're not, you know, so it's, you know, it's
right.
out there.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I think that's an excellent idea, you know, that you did, that you know, got together to see if you could pull, you know, and get a better deal on the, you know, purchasing health insurance.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that is certainly one area in terms of collaboration, but that's limited. That is only within the consortium of people with the same, you know, I mean, it's still good, don't get me wrong. What really,
it didn't work.
I understand, but the point is it was a good idea to try.
Yes.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And in the same light, there could be potential future funding sources, for example, that might be applicable to several agencies, because no one agency does all the different functions. So you could have a grant that there's a lead agency in, for example, with 2 to X number of, you know, other agencies providing sub-services and their sub-recipients. That would be one methodology by where a group of agencies within the group can come together and access additional funding. Certainly, you know, well, the other idea is Barry talked about in terms of, you know, whether it's extra office space or, you know, again, every, you know, nonprofit has to think a little bit like a business today because of the economy. You know, within the guidelines of remaining a nonprofit, you know, we're not suggesting to do anything, you know, but whatever is, you know, completely legitimate to do that could generate some extra revenue for your company, certainly, you know, be it leasing extra space that's not needed, as an example, you know, or something like that. You know, those ideas should not necessarily be just, you know, everything should be on the table, so long as it's something that falls within your, you know, guidelines and something that your, you know, executive, you know, group and board will ultimately approve.
We've also recently finding that a lot of grants now are looking for agencies to partner with other agencies, and you know, for us, that you know, where possible, you know, we are looking to subcontract, and we've taken, you know, we've reached out to certain agencies for that and applied for specific grants, you know, what it does is it hopefully will give us more leeway, or a better grant will reach more of the population being targeted by accessing other agencies and having them essentially, you know, work together with us. So, you know, it's kind of all going that way.
Definitely. Well, it certainly opens up the range of things you can apply for. It opens up the range to some degree of services, or that, it's really, and you know, the collaboration piece, goes beyond just referring the client, from your place to someone else's places. It builds bridges, it builds relationships, it makes the next grant easier. If you've already worked with a couple of agencies on a particular project successfully, it gives everyone confidence to apply for something coming down the pipe together. So these are all very good things. And just like, I guess, companies, for-profit companies are sort of tightening their belt and looking, I guess to some, the government, funding sources, they want to see duplication of services. They want to see that the funds are used to the objective, et cetera, so that, it's all the more reason for us to get together where where it makes sense, and, to work together in that context.
Yes. Well, again, thank you so much. The presentation was helpful.
Please, Diana, it's a pleasure. It's an honor to have all of you guys on, actually.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback.
Thank you.
I want to thank Barry for doing a great job. I'm sorry, I wanted to thank Barry Rothenberg.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What?
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Are there any other questions? Are there any other? Just raise your hand if you have a question. Okay. Great. Thanks so much, guys, for attending. It's a true honor and a true pleasure to have such a wonderful group, such a wonderful group, all together. Thanks so much, guys.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Take care. All you.